Hi, and welcome back to another episode of A Spoken Nonsense. So this last week, well, 2 weeks has been pretty cool because I celebrated a 1 year anniversary of my best friend Nicole moving in, so you'll see that. Also, it is the end of the semester, so it's my last semester at WNC, and I have finals that I just completed. My last one was my calculus final. So I've just been, super busy with trying to do something nice to show Nikki she's welcome here. But I thought I'd show some love to my art projects that I never show at all. And so that's what you just saw in there. But while looking for them, I found some rare photos. It's a couple photos of me actually drunk, which I don't drink that much anymore. I used to, party quite a bit when I was younger, but kind of chilled out on that. So that's kind of fun to find those. That last one was me as a drunk Einstein for Halloween this last year. But anyways, yeah. So we just finished up finals. This was my last semester over at WNC, so that's super cool, and I'm super excited to go to UNR here in just a couple weeks. Not sick anymore, so that's always great because I had that flu and then I got a cold right after. But that kind of went away pretty quick. So you saw my dry erase board. That's where I put all my notes and things I need to study for the week. And what was cool was that's going to be the last thing I erase ever for WNC. And that's mind blowing because I spent the last year there, just working away, trying to get enough credits to transfer out. And honestly, when I first started attending, I was like, this place is stupid. Like for some reason, I kept downplaying it as a college and a school. But actually, like after going there for a while, it's a pretty good school. So if you live in Nevada and you're looking for, an affordable college to start out your like education career, I definitely recommend checking out Western Nevada College. We're like a third of the price of the universities out here. We have a lot of great counselors. I actually used to work in the counseling department as a peer mentor for a work study. So I had to leave since I no longer am enrolled there. But yeah, no, like if you're looking for a great school, definitely check out WNC. Anyways, so a couple things I wanted to talk about. I was talking to my brother recently, and he brought up something interesting. So he sent me this video on Facebook, which I know Facebook video not the most trustworthy thing, especially when it comes to science. If anyone ever tells you to check out a video on Facebook, double check what the hell they're talking about. Anyways, it's some company that claims that they're going to pretty much freeze your brain, take your conscious, and download it to a new body. That's cool in theory that they think that they can, like give you a whole nother life by taking your conscience, or conscious, not conscience. um, but I don't really see how that works. So the way I'm looking at it, and if anyone knows better than I do, because I'm obviously not like a doctor or anything, I'm not that smart. Is I'm imagining it like a phone transfer of like your data and stuff. So like I luckily like I just bought a new phone, and so I had to transfer all of my photos, my notes, things like that over to this and to the new phone, and that's how I'm like kind of imagining that. So I don't really see how that works if they think that they're just gonna give you a whole new body. I think it's just gonna be a new copy of you if it did ever work. It would just be a copy of you that thinks it's you. And like I said, if I'm wrong, let me know. Just a dumb little thought I was thinking about. On the screen, you're going to see a couple things coming up for math, and this was my final for calculus. And I know in one of them, I was wrong on one of my things. I don't remember exactly what it was, but my teacher actually emailed us and let us know that it was wrong. These are our notes. But this is what's cool like about calculus is like you can do these like crazy thing like improper integrals. And it's just when you get into it, it's super cool because an integral is like measuring the curve under like the area underneath a curve. So it's the antiderivative, which if you remember from last episode, I explained that a derivative is the rate of change of a slope of the tangent line. This is looking at the area underneath that rate of change, so that entire curve underneath is what you're looking at with integrals and antiderivatives. And so they're super cool. It's fun to mess around with. I had a great time this year doing calculus, and I actually loved the class. And it kind of like re-sparked a little bit of like this love I have for mathematics. It kind of just reboosted that for me. So that was cool, and I luckily had like a very good teacher. You might hear some clacking here in a second. That's my dog coming out here because he can hear me talking. Um, but yeah, it was a super good class. So if you do take classes over at WNC and you do have to take a math, I'd recommend looking up Mr. Morrison if he's still teaching there because he will definitely teach you what you need to know. And he makes learning a lot of fun because he makes you interact with the class. And that's how I learn is I have to do it to learn it. And if I'm just sitting there taking notes all the time, I'm gonna have a hard time remembering it. Other than that, so we finished up calculus, we finished up physics, which physics was an alright class. Our professor was a pretty cool guy. His name is Dr. H. I'm not going to give out his whole name. He was a little bit of a challenge to learn from because he runs through it super, super quick. And so it's like if you don't have it, you're not going to get it. So you might as well buy the book and start reading. And, I'm a pretty good student when it comes to it, and I'm very good at taking notes. I take a lot of notes. But even for me, taking all those notes and trying to keep up with him going, that was definitely a new challenge that I had to overcome. But I did. I passed the class. I passed all my classes, so I'll give myself a little bit of round of applause over here. So I'm officially heading off to UNR. Um, Art was super cool. Our last project was actually a skull that we did. So like we had to use something called like a straight line method. And so you start with a bunch of straight lines and you build off it and you can build curves with it. And then you go over with charcoal and you can create the shadows and stuff. And that was like a lot of fun to do. So I had a great time doing that. So for this video, I thought it'd be fun to talk about two random things. And the second thing I'm a major advocate for, and that is fair pay for your labor. So growing up in Nevada, it is a mainly conservative state unless you live inside the major cities like Reno and Las Vegas. I'm not conservative at all. And so that has, some kind of effect when it comes to talking about these things, especially in my home state, and to a lot of people who are not that well educated in it. But as I said before, I'm a major advocate for being paid a fair wage for the labor you provide for a company. So if you've ever worked in a factory, I hope you can relate to this because I have worked in a lot of warehouses, a lot of factories. That's mainly what my jobs have been my entire life since I was 16. And that is you staying on your feet for 40 hours a week, 8, 10, 12 hours a day, and it's on concrete, you're doing manual labor, but you're paid yet only 15, 16 an hour. In Nevada, that is not enough to live on by yourself. You cannot afford your rent, your food, let alone say you have a medical emergency outside of work and they don't pay for it. Most likely you're going to end up homeless if you go to the hospital and you don't have insurance, which is a joke that we don't have insurance that's offered to everyone. But what I wanted to talk about is the fact that if you are going into a job and they offer you a certain wage and you're like, wow, that is not enough to live on, dispute it. And if they don't want to dispute it, then you don't need to work for them because you know they're just going to exploit you. And they're going to exploit you for every penny. They want you to work the most, to pay you the less, to gain the most in profit and revenue, so their shareholders can be satisfied. So I'm putting up on the screen one of my favorite quotes that I've heard, and it is from the Communist Manifesto, which if you haven't actually read it, I recommend you do. But check it out and just dispute your wage and don't be exploited. All right, have a good night. Bye.